know.
Yeah.
But I do know a guy that does know. And all I can do is say, hey, God, look, you know, when it's time to quit, you got to stop me, because until then, I'm wide open.
Yeah, because you either are or you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, you're yeah. All in is. I mean, I know that's Clemson's thing, but you either are or you're not. Because if you're cheating on your workouts, or if you're whatever, you're not committed to the program.
You're not committed.
And that's what he's telling you, and that's what God tells us. You will never know how much I admire you. Never. Because of your commitment and the fact that you and your wife are both doing all of this together, and you're able to do it, even though she may pull back a little bit sometimes, and mine's the same way, because she says you do too much. But you know what? I'm 53. I'll be 53 in June. And when I'm 73, I'm going to be too dang old to do this. And to do it, you know, I'll have to do what that pastor guy does and buy pizzas, which is awesome. But the fact is, I want to do, my heart lies with children. Yours lies with homeless, mine's children. Now, it can be a little bit of both, but the fact is that a lot of these kids that we've seen have never heard about Jesus unless we tell them.
And we'll never hear it.
Unless we tell them. And so when God convicted me to do this, it was not just the shoes, but we use the shoes to get them there. Because they're not coming for nothing. It's just the way it works. So
can you imagine working on a pipeline crew and coming in making...
You're good, keep going. I'm just going to check the camera.
$1,500 a week. Coming in and telling my wife that I'm through. I would work out on the road 4 or 5 weeks at a time. I'd come home for a weekend. I'd leave 4 or 5 weeks at a time. I'd come home for a weekend. I'd be out on the road with these guys that would do their dope, their alcohol, whatever. They'd get up the next morning, they go to work, and they'd come back in and do the same thing over. I was the only one that could pass a drug test out there. And I grant you, I like to have a beer just like everybody else sitting out there. But one, I was done.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just I was fitting in, you know, doing the one. I was fitting in. And I finally come home one day and said, honey, I'm done. She said, do what? I said, I can't do it anymore. I'm through. I'm going to paint, and I'm going to make a living doing this. And she was working for the college. And part-time at the college. And after we were trying to make this go, she come home one day, just tears in her eyes. She said, they just fired me. They said they didn't need me no more. They let her go. I said, look here. Quit crying. Ain't no reason to cry. You know, I'm not much up on pity parties. That sounds like a joke, but that's my favorite line. I tell everybody. Trent got laughing at me the other day because I told her, I said, suck it up, sunshine.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't got no time for no pity parties. Jesus Christ got nails drove through his hands and feet. He didn't cry the whole time. Come on.
True story. So
I don't want to hear no pity. Yeah. I said, here's what we can do. We can either get tough with it or fall with it. And you know what? And I'm telling you, if you can see my bank account then, living, you know, just barely in there, and it's still not good. But you know what? It comes as it goes. You know, it comes, and you know, I could actually now go eat a meal somewhere and not worry about it. And then while I was making that kind of money, I was spending and blowing and throwing.
That's right.
So God just said, quit being stupid and just listen to me, and it's all good.
So I'm going to skip the next one. Well, it just says, what does an event look like every day? I know what you do. I mean, you go out and you're ministering to these guys, you're talking to them. I know what you do on that one. It's not like you hold a special event at times.
Right.
What do you look forward to with your mission? What do you look forward to, and what do you dread?
You know what I look forward to is the Donnies and the Marcuses. You know, I look forward to somebody knowing that when they go to bed that night, that they know that God loves them.
That's right.
Period. That's it in a nutshell. Because you know, when I sit there and I look at a person that's doing drugs, they're shooting up drugs, and she looks up at me and she's broken because she just feels like the world's kicked her butt, and all I can do is tell her, I love you, God loves you, it's okay.
Yeah.
There's going to be a better day.
Yeah.
And to know that regardless of what she done, she went to bed that night knowing that the last thing she heard before she passed out was that God loved her.
But and you can and it's awesome to tell her that, but you also do things for them to help them. And so there's, you know, faith without deeds is dead. There's nothing to it. So that's the thing that because and we try to do the same thing with the kids, but you not only say, hey brother, I'm sorry about where you're at, but I'm going to help you. I may not be able to fix what's going on with you, but I'm going to help you, and it may be a short-term fix. And that's what we try to do as well. And when a school calls and they say, hey, I've got 10 kids that need shoes, I put them in the Jeep and I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm going to take them because I don't want those kids suffering. I don't want those kids being made fun of.
But you're back at the same thing I'm talking about. Point blank, we are at the same point there in our life, regardless if they're 10 to 20, 10 to 100 is dignity, man.
Yeah.
Humility.
That's it.
Because I don't want that 2-year-old to be laughed at any more than I do that 100-year-old out there. And you know, if we can solve that problem, then look, dude, the heart is open.
Well, I don't see it happening because I went out with you, and when you see these guys in the $400 shoes and the $1,000 suits or whatever, and they're all in a hurry, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because you have to make a living, and if that's what's required, that's what's required.
Exactly.
But it doesn't preclude you from doing something for somebody that can never pay you back.
Did you see my Facebook post that I made yesterday at church? Is when there's a homeless buddy of mine sitting on the front row. I gave him $20 Friday morning when he's here. Of course, he's here, and I stick money in his pocket because I don't want him to go without.
Yeah.
There again, you ain't gonna come ask me for money, and I don't want you to walk around without anything. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want nobody to see it. So he's about out of money yesterday, and when he goes into church Sunday morning, he had $2 in his pocket. I know he had $2 in his pocket. Okay. $1 went into that offering plate Sunday morning. The other dollar went in last night.
Wow.
I didn't know this. James told me this. I didn't know he put it in there. He sat up there on the front row with James Horn, the blind guy.
Mm-hmm. Love that guy.
James cannot see, but he knew he was hearing it. And then James can see black and white. And he looked down as he pulled this out with the right hand, shifted it over, and put it with his left hand so James wouldn't feel him dropping his only dollar he had in that offering plate. Okay?
Yeah.
But then the service was over with. Of course, I didn't know this. I didn't give him $20 in change so he could have change to go to work with, you know, and put in the Coke machine, get a Coke like everybody else does, right? But last night before he left, 2 guys came up with $20 a piece and gave it to him.
Wow.
Oh yeah, see, God's already. He humbled himself and listened and obeyed to put money. He tithed right there, the last $2.
Yeah.
And then it was multiplied to $40 before you walked out of there. How many is that? Come on.
It's the way it works, you know. Well, because his heart was in the right place. He could have done it for show, but his heart was in the right place, and that's why he got rewarded.
Yeah, and you got a guy sitting on the back row that's a millionaire.
Yeah, no doubt.
Give it a,
no doubt.
I had my money. I worked all my life for it.
Why do you do what you do?
Because I love people and I serve an awesome God, and that's it. You know, what else can you say? God told us, you know, Trent says something that will always be in my mind from now on, and it's don't talk about it, be about it.
Oh yeah, I've seen him put that.
It's there. I mean, there's conferences that are doing it on that right now. That same saying is don't talk about it. Because Matthew 28:19-20 did give us an option. You know, John 15:16 did not. He didn't. You know, he chose us for a reason. He chose Kevin Lilly, and if he thought enough of Kevin Lilly to say, hey, I need you to do this, then I've got no choice.
I ignored it, and you're not. And somebody told me sometime, they said, "Well, you ain't gonna win that bad, are you?" I said, "No, I didn't." And he kept working on me, and he never gave up on me.
You're right.
But I also had a pastor friend of mine say, "Your heart might not have been in the right place when he was talking to you the first time," and he was absolutely right, because I love people, but I didn't love what we're doing. Right. I didn't understand the magnitude that we could have. That we can help. You tell me March 16th, 13 months ago, we gave our first pair of shoes to a kid in Nancy County. He was 5th grader, and he was saved on the spot. You tell me, he's running around, a little black kid, and he's telling this guy, I got Jesus in my heart. He's running around. It looks like he's on Pez or whatever. He is jacked up like he's on Mountain Dew. And he is running around going, I got Jesus in my heart. I got Jesus in my heart. And from that moment, I knew what we were doing was the right thing. Whether my family, whether they understood it or not, I don't care. I love my wife. But there's been times when she's going, we're drifting apart because you're more interested in doing that than you are in our marriage. And that's not the case at all.
But the sad part is, all you can say is, you know what? It is what it is. Because you know what? My first responsibility is to God.
Yeah.
Period. I love you. Now, my wife, I'm going to tell you right now, I couldn't do what I do without my wife standing beside me and picking me up.
And I don't know how she does it, because when you have different responsibilities, you got the house and you got the kid and you got the marriage responsibilities. It's hard, dude. It's hard. And as humans, we're selfish.
Right. And when it comes to somebody, a homeless person in need, I will fail as a father and as a husband, because I don't put my priorities where it should be there with that. I'll go take care of them and think, you know what, they're good at home because they got a home.
Yeah.
And it ain't right. It's not right. But there again, God's not going to let it fail. He's not going to let it fail, because He knows our heart, He knows my heart, and He's going to hold us. All we got to do is just stay faithful, push through it, push through this, and everything's going to be all right.
Yeah. I'll read this to you. I sent it to her just earlier. I heard it on the radio this morning. It says, God says you're going to face trials, and the devil is going to come after the ones you love the most. Okay? And especially when you're doing the right things. And so God's having a conversation with somebody else, and he turns to God and he says, hey God, I'm doing my thing and I never hear from the devil. I must be doing okay. He's leaving me alone. He said, no, God, no, says God, that's worthless. He said, the devil isn't wasting his time on you. Better look again at your efforts. God's people say rise and build. The devil says rise and oppose. You know Greg Laurie? You know who that is? That was him. And I had never heard it kind of put that way, but he's been attacking my wife for 6 months, and she's had negative feelings towards soul to soul. And she feels like, and I tried to explain to her one day, and she's going through menopause too, so it's a double-edged kind of sword. And anyway, fantastically. But the thing is, like she was holding grudges that I was putting it above, but I wasn't. What I was trying to do was, when she's not home, when she's working or whatever, I'll try and do my sorting and other stuff and plan for the events and then have time for her. But the thing is, that she felt like that it was more important. And so when she would say, well, why don't you sit here and watch TV with me or whatever, and I'm going, look, I have to get ready for this. We got a big event coming up. And I said, and these kids need me. She said, well, I need you. I said, I get that. But there's also times when we have dedicated time, we go and hang out, we go to eat. Like yesterday, we went to Morrow Mountain State Park, and we spent the day together. And then last night, I went down to the Crusade. She was like, I wish you would stay home. I said, I can't, because I was the one that arranged the speaker, and he needs for me to be there. He's a guy that's getting ready to go to NFL, and I arranged for him to be there, and it's my responsibility. And I said, I got to go support him. And so I got home at 10 o'clock, and I thought she was going to be upset, and she's changing, because she was like, how'd it go? All that. So when, I don't know that we ever take them for granted, but I do know that sometimes they're second fit.
You know what? And it's not just you. Just to let you know, it's happening. It happens right here at home, because I'm out working the streets all day long. I work the streets all day long, and as soon as I walk back in, I send her a message saying, "Hey, I'll see you here in a little bit. I'm almost home. I'll tell you what happened." As soon as I walk in the house, she's been sitting here all day long waiting, and my phone rings. And I sit on the telephone, and my buddy said, "Hey, what happened?" "Oh, let me tell you what I did here. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about this." And she's sitting over there, and all of a sudden, tears come to her eyes.
Yeah.
And she tells me, she said, the least you could do is respect me enough to tell me what happened before anybody else. Ooh.
That's powerful.
Come on. Talk about knock your shoes off, Jack.
And it's true.
So what I've made a point of is, as I go along through the day, I call her and text her and show her what is happening. And then I tell her, look, this just happened when I get home, and I'll come in and I'll turn my phone off before I do anything else.
Right.
And I sit down and tell her what's happened.
That's right.
That is her thing.
Yeah.
She can deal with everything else.
That's right, because she's telling you, I'm giving you permission to go, and I'm supporting you, but you got to include me.
This has got to be, I want to know before anybody else what's happened.
She's right.
I know, so I have to do that. And
Love it.
I know. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be hurtful. I'm just wide open and don't slow down.
I know. And I get caught up into you already told me what makes you happy when you see people saved and you see people do better. Were there people in your life that you essentially had to part ways with because they didn't agree or they weren't on the same page as you?